Beautiful. So excited to be here with you today for another Cosmic Tea Time chat. If you don't already know, my name is Kaitlyn. I'm a psychic moon mentor, and I journey with women into the deepest, darkest parts of themselves so that they can start to witness their own cycles and patterns and cycles of emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. I love to teach with the moon because the moon can really help us on this journey of self-mastery, and it can help shift our perspective just a little bit so it gets easier to witness those patterns and cycles because we are not our thoughts, right? We are not our emotions. We are the observer of these things. And my girlfriend Elizabeth is going to join me here in a few. And Elizabeth is a beautiful, kind-hearted soul. She is a intuitive healer and a spiritual coach and influencer. And I want to give her some opportunity to share her magic as well. And so while we wait for her to join, I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards. I've got my beautiful moon deck here with me today. And so we will see. Let's see if I can find her and invite her to join our live. While I start to shuffle here today. And so today the moon is in the sign of Leo, and Leo is confident. They are courageous. And so you may or may not know that the moon shifts through all the zodiac signs. So oftentimes we see the zodiac time around the time of the new moon and the full moon, right? The full moon in Sagittarius, the new moon in Gemini, which are coming up. Oh, there we go. We got our card. But she switches through the signs about every 2.5 days. And so today she just shifted into Leo and she'll be there for about the rest of the week, right? And so embody this intuitive, soulful energy to align with the moon to start your own journey of self-mastery and change and guidance. And so that's so funny. This was the card that was on the bottom of the deck, and I almost picked it up, and I was almost like, oh, I wonder what this says. And then lo and behold, check out what flew out. First of all, I haven't read it yet, but look at these beautiful gold colors, this beautiful sun energy. So yellow is a sign that connects with a color that connects with our fire sign, which Leo connects to that fire, that fuel, that solar plexus chakra, right? Of soul purpose and passion. And believe it or not, I am wearing yellow today. And so on here it reads, I have unlimited potential and claim my purpose. Fuck yes. And so if you've been waiting, or if you've been wanting to start a dream or start a creative project or lead your there she is. Hey, Elizabeth. If you've been wanting to, use your Reiki certification and help more intuitive souls, if you've been wanting to change careers, start acting on that. Take one step to do that, right? In my book that came out today, Soul Alchemy, I was a contributor of that book. So excited. And I share my story where I started to lean into my passions, right? So I was working a lot of customer service jobs at the time. This was back in 2018. And requested to join. Here she is. These customer service jobs that I felt like that anyone could do, right? And here she comes. Hi. How are you today?
Good. Just having some technical
That's okay.
difficulties, I
Yeah,
guess,
me
this
too.
morning.
It
But
happens, but we're here. Yeah, so I was just sharing about my story. I just pulled a card, so I'll just read this and then I'll give you a moment to introduce yourself. But yeah, so follow your passion, lean into that. Even if you just start with following your curiosity, right? Do that now while the moon is in the sign of Leo. And our card that came in is I have unlimited potential and claim my purpose. All that I need is within me. And Elizabeth and I are going to chat more about that today. So this is the perfect card. But yes, hello, Elizabeth. So glad you're here. We had a little bit of technical difficulties this morning, but that's okay. We made it. We made it work. We kept after it. So Elizabeth, will you please introduce yourself, share a little bit more about you and what you do?
Yes, so I'm Elizabeth Knittle. I am a intuitive healer and spiritual life coach. So I work with clients with all of their body systems, so on the spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional, and astral bodies. And we do healings as well as spiritual life coaching. So, and I've been in the online space since like 2019.
Okay, so we started around the same time. I started around
And
2018 where I shifted my holistic coaching business into more of a spiritual mentorship. And right, you as well as I both know that these areas, right, of our internal state, of our personal being, when we start to look at these, when we start to explore these, we can recognize how some of the things we've been carrying, some of the beliefs, some of the thoughts, some of our emotional cycles, they're not even necessarily ours, right? They're things we've been sort of conditioned into, or that maybe have been put onto us from society or people who love and really care about us, right? And what sort of impacts have you seen play out with the people that you work with?
well, it's so interesting. I love that we started here because it was funny. This week we're working on manifesting in my inner circle, and we were talking about being expanders. So having people around you that have already done the thing or have seen the miracle or have, and whether that's through podcast or whether that's on the
In this earthly
internet
realm, yeah,
through
wherever you
influencers
connect with them.
or here. But having those experiences, and it was funny because some of the girls were sharing stories to be expanders for each other and ended up not realizing how they could be expanders even for themselves because those were experiences that had happened in their lives. So that's sort of a positive twist on what we usually think of, because I think there are so many stories and programs that we don't really even realize are within. And that was the thing that really came up, was they were like, well, I didn't think about it like that. Like I didn't think about that this happened in my life. So that is like programmed into me. And so I think there's both positive and negative things that can come of it, but it's so much in increasing our awareness of the stories that we have and what is ours and what is in program.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why I love teaching with the moon, because it can help give us this like outside perspective almost when we start to witness, the moon cycles and how we can see her change, right? But the work that I dive into is there's a very specific energy for those phases. There's specific emotions that come up. There are specific fears that come up, and there are specific tools that you can use. Some of my favorites are more metaphysical and spiritual, like meditation and crystals and journaling and getting together with like-minded souls like Elizabeth and I are doing today. And when you can start to witness the cycle and get more familiar, it gets easier to sort of say, okay, this is where I'm at, right? Have that awareness of whatever's going on, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking, having awareness of that, acknowledging it, and then like the next phase is coming, right? And so it gets easier to sort of be where you're at, even if you're in a state of discomfort, right? And so maybe if you're there today, throw a heart emoji in the comments. Let us help. We'll send you some love. Let us know where you're at. But yes.
Yeah, I love that. And that's what I always say is like pull out and be that curious observer. And so don't judge where you are, but really just get curious and start to poke around and see why you're feeling that way or what's underneath that to get to the root of
Yes,
what's
yeah.
going
I
on.
always say, because in the work that I do, I help women identify, where their energetic blocks are, what emotion, what energy is keeping you blocked from that goal that you desire, from that, promotion or that next job or that money that you're hoping for, whatever it is that your goal is, right? That relationship that you really want, that health that you want, you know. And so, one, following your curiosity, right? So I think that's how intuition speaks to you, I've found, right? Whether you're curious to go over and start a conversation with a stranger, right? Something in you is just like pulling you there. Like follow that curiosity and sort of see where it goes. And for when we're in that state of discomfort, right, which happens because we're human, right, can you have this open curiosity to start to ask these open-ended questions like, what am I feeling? Where am I feeling it in my body? And, when did I first feel this way? Who do I know who sort of said this, thought this, acted upon this? And that can really help. That's a good place to start.
Yeah, I think so. And it's like if you're feeling down, like not getting down on yourself, just
Mhm.
feeling the feelings and working through
Yeah,
it.
because
So,
they're not permanent, right?
um,
And so when we're in this state of discomfort, like how do you help meet your clients there? Because so often that's a place where we start, right? Where our miracle story starts is in that discomfort or in that pain. And so can you share a little bit about how you meet your clients there?
sure. So, I mean, just first acknowledging what they're feeling, and that like it's exactly where you're supposed to be. And you're exactly right what you just said. It's like it's the feeling of, feeling down or whatever that's going to, when you've had enough, to catapult you into making the changes that you need to make in order to start the transformation. And so that's where the healing work really comes in, is to work with all of the body systems, splitting off the mental body, splitting off the emotional body, working with the spiritual body to see where anything might be capped or have a bind or be corded or anything, to really open up the flow of energy to move through, because we get stagnant
Mm-hmm.
energy, and that can cause, and if we do that for such a long time, it can, or trauma can create like a scar tissue, which can become very rigid. And so it's really like pushing through. That is one of the things about working with me, as we work with all of our body systems, and we don't just deal with it like on this physical plane where you're kind of butting your head to try to force something. It's like allowing it to happen with ease and grace.
Yeah, acknowledging just awareness, like that is such a huge first step. And I want to honor whoever is there, right? And sometimes we get caught and like stuck right where it feels like we're fighting. And so it can actually be really simple to release, right? An emotion only lasts 90 seconds. Believe it or not, emotion only lasts 90 seconds.
Yeah.
But what keeps it going when we get caught is the story that we tell ourselves in our mind, like feeding it, right? And it can be super easy to clear, just acknowledging what you're feeling. I'm going to go back to the card that came in today, right? With the full moon, that's a great time to release. So just acknowledging like, okay, this is where I am, and setting a simple intention of, what, I'm ready to let that go. I'm ready. I welcome more love in, and set that intention. And another simple one I love that I want to share on that connects to this card and the moon being in the sign of Leo today is like light, working with light, whether it's simply the intention of like, okay, calling in light, I welcome in 100% pure light frequency into me to clear these things that are no longer serving me. Or what really helps me, because I am a physical, tangible person, I got my career started in fitness, right? So I love being connected with the body. So getting outside in the sun and like feeling the warm sun on you, and pairing that with this more spiritual, ethereal aspect of letting go and letting that cleanse you and recharge you. That's probably one of my favorite simple practices to dive into.
I love that. And you say it's simple, and it is simple, but it's so healing to really work with nature in that way. And exactly, actually, I am a Leo sun. And so I met with my astrology teacher this week, and um, it, it's all about the light, working with the light right now, and the sun, and feeling, and you're right, it's like allowing that light to pour in. And especially to me, I feel the sun so much in the solar plexus, and that empowering energy, and like, just pouring into.
Yeah,
So
and one of
I love that.
I'm a mom now. My kids are still pretty young, 3 and 18 months, and I have experienced postpartum depression and some really dark, dense, heavy days where like I just didn't want to feel anymore. I was just I'm super sensitive soul, super sensitive person, and I was like so overstimulated. That's the word I'm looking for. And I've had some really dark, dark days, and luckily because of the work that I do and the people that I work with and like-minded souls that are out there, like Elizabeth, right? I knew that there's this spectrum, right? And that's how I sort of see emotions, right? So there are heavier, denser, darker sides and a much lighter side. And so I knew that even though I'm here, even though I'm in this darkness, like the exact opposite of this is true. The exact opposite of this is possible. And so that's something that kept me going on some of my darkest, like heaviest days.
I love that, because I have dealt with major depression and postpartum and all of the levels of it. And it is. I love that, like holding on to the knowing that the exact opposite exists. I never really thought
Mhm.
about thinking about it that way. I think about duality, but like sometimes when you're in the middle of it,
It
it's
is. It
hard
can
to
be
pull that
really
in.
hard. And so Elizabeth was sharing a few moments ago about, joining with like-minded souls. And, I've been, playing with this idea as I've really been in creativity this year. I'm working on a book collaboration that comes out today, Soul Alchemy, but it's these healers and intuitives that come together and we share our stories where, we've been in the darkness, we've been in the muck and the mud, and, and the tools that we helped, that helped us to find the light again and connect to the light and connect with our soul purpose and our passion and our fire. And so hopefully, who's ever watching now, whether it's live or the replay, hopefully this can give you some hope, just a little seedling of hope that, those days do get better, and connecting with like-minded souls really helps. So talk a little bit more about that container that you have for some of those like-minded souls to get together.
So I have a couple groups. Excuse me. One is a healing group that I do that's every Thursday at 5:45 Eastern, and it's we do live alchemical healings every week, and that it's really powerful, and it's really incredible what can happen just by shifting your energy and really bringing, transmuting the lower frequencies and bringing in the higher frequencies and really removing blocks and cords and things. And then I also have an inner circle, which is a 6-month container where they do the healing group as well as we meet once, or actually we meet twice a week. And it's a really, really powerful, amazing container, just filled with so much like transformation and support. Because that's the thing, is I feel like a lot of times when we start you're on the spiritual awakening journey and you're trying to like DIY it, you're like pulling in, watching all the YouTubes and watching all the things, but it's like trying to like plug it in and plug yourself in to where it makes sense in your life and you get into your natural alignment. And I think that like when you plug into a group where you have that one, or that you know, one-to-many support, and the girls are so loving and supportive of each other and really, you know, help to expand and lift each other up. It's
And getting
really
around
phenomenal.
others like can help get you out of that story, right? Can help get you out of that stuck space, because when we're alone, like it's easier to sort of be just in our subconscious because our body likes what's familiar, our mind likes what is familiar, and so just talking to other people helps you recognize, you know, possibly some of your intuitive gifts that other people have them and those are real, right? And you can get that validation and that confirmation that, you know, they can give you a little bit of hope when they share their story and sort of how they came out of it, whether you connect with pieces like books, like Soul Alchemy that comes out today, you know, to alchemize, you know, some of that mud to get you to a place where you can create the life like beyond your wildest dreams, or containers like Elizabeth has, right, where you can come together, you know, virtually to have conversations and harness some of these skills to move you out of that stuck place. It can make such a big difference, and I love that you offer those different time capsules, right, because it's the consistency that's really important, right? You know, when I was a new mom, like those of you who are moms out there, like throw some hearts in the comments, write some heart emojis, let me know if you're a mom or not. But it can be so overwhelming and our whole world change, and so our time might change for how long we can sit in meditation or how long we can sit and, like, you know, soak the sun in and cleanse our aura. But the consistency is what's important. So even if you only have a minute, this is what I used to tell my other new mamas when I was there a couple of years ago, right? Like 1 minute a day, that's going to add up. That's better than 30 minutes like once a month or whatever. So meet yourself where you're at. It changes every day. I know my practice changes every day. I don't know about you, Elizabeth.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. And but you're right, it's consistency, and that's the thing. It's those small um, steps that add up to those quantum leaps, you know, and it's the small consistent actions of showing up um, and just taking the time and doing the things that you would normally do, but through the lens of self-care and through the lens of self-love. And, you know, when you're brushing your teeth, do it because, you know, you love your body and you're taking care of your teeth and you're really grateful for all that they do for you. When you're shaving your legs, think about how powerful your legs are, that they move you through the day, you know? And so it's not that you have to add extra time.
Yes.
It's the things that you're already doing. Be grateful for the sun, you know, as you guys walk to your car to get ready to go somewhere, and, you know, being in gratitude for those little voices in the back of the car instead of like, ah, you know, like just shifting your
Yeah,
perspective.
because we
It,
all experience darkness and we are going to have some hard times, but it's impermanent, right? And even if you're, you know, watching now or watching the replay, right, and you want to be more fulfilled, if you want to live a life that you're more passionate about, you want to experience more passion and more joy, right? That is accessible, right? And like if we think of a fire, right? I want to stay with this Leo energy, this fire fuel. Like a fire dies down, right? We have to keep adding to the fire. We have to add a little bit more wood, right? And so in these small moments, can we celebrate? Can we find gratitude to help fuel our fire? Because that energy, the energy of those things does attract things. So I'm all about the full moon. So I love that a full moon popped up here. But even like these small instances of celebration, like my clients struggle sometimes with finding a way to celebrate, but one of the simple, you know, opportunities that I share a lot about is, you know, like your favorite beverage. Right? Like I love hibiscus tea. Like I don't know what it is about it, but I love the color, I love the taste, I love the smell. And so when you drink that, can you witness all those things that you love about it? Can you just pause and be in the moment with the color, the taste, whatever it is, whatever that is for you, right? And what is one of your favorite things? Comment below. I'm curious. Um, but but yeah, and so can you share a little bit about your story, Elizabeth?
well, sure. I suffer, well, I was really trapped from about 18 until 36, in cycles of, I had an eating disorder that was terrible. It started when I went to college, and then it transferred to alcohol addiction. And so I was like caught in those addictive cycles, and I dealt with so much trauma and of unworthiness and that lack. And then I experienced these humongous miracles when I was 27.
That's interesting, because that's a big spiritual number. I don't know if you know that or have looked up the angel number meaning, but 27 is like aligning you with spiritual awakening and like a spiritual path. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, that is so neat. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize that about 27, but that was my first, excuse me, that was my first spiritual awakening, and the light came into my car and into my body, and I felt this love that is not of this world, and this feelings of gratitude and of like knowing that I was created for a purpose, on purpose, and levels of like worthiness and just to love. Like my whole heart was just filled, and I had bought binge food, and I heard, Elizabeth, you don't have to live like this anymore, because I hated the cycle of it, but I was like needed the chemicals, the relief. It had become such a addiction for me, and I heard that, and the light just went like through my whole body and then out my crown, and all of the addictive patterns and cycles of my eating disorder left my body. And so that was my first spiritual awakening. And then after I got sober, it was about a year and a half into that, I had another one where all of my clairs opened. And so I have this like big, crazy miracle spiritual awakening.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, and sometimes we do have big experiences like this and big moments like this where, you know, we have those beautiful miracles. And for me, mine were more sort of subtle, right? I was sharing about this a little bit earlier as we were just starting, but, you know, for me, before I found like my dream job and I wanted to, I was working these like customer service jobs, and I was just getting like tired with them. I was running around, you know, like, what is it called? Like spreading myself thin, right? And I was just so tired. And so sometimes that place of irritant is a good place to start. But I started, right? I started looking for coaching jobs. I started looking for fitness jobs. And then, well, fitness jobs was first. That was my passion. And then I found that. I got a little bit closer, and that felt good. And then I decided, okay, this is good, but this isn't quite it, right? And I wanted to use, back in 2018, I wanted to use my health coaching certificate, right? It's like, I have this passion. I want to help people change their lives, mind, body, and spirit. And then I got fired for the first time in my life. So I guess a big event, right? For anyone who's gotten fired, like that doesn't feel good. It's pretty big. It's kind of scary, right? Like, oh, where's my income going to come in for my needs to be met? But ultimately, like, it was a good thing. I already knew, like, okay, I'm on the right path. Like, I'm epic. I'm going to give myself permission to keep going in this direction towards things I love, towards things I like or think that I might like, right? And so after I got fired, that's when I finally bought my first tarot deck, which I was like 22, 23 at the time, something like that. And I had been interested in tarot since I was like a teenager, like 15 or something, just curious about it, but never did it for fear and other people's like input, right? But I got my first tarot deck, and I started to learn about moonology with Yasmin Boland, who's amazing. If you don't already follow her, follow her. But yeah, and it just led me to this beautiful space now where I got my dream job. I kept saying yes to curiosity. And those patterns were still there, right? Like Elizabeth and I have been sharing of like scarcity and like, oh no, I should go find another serving job. I should go find another customer service job. Like those thoughts were still there, believe you me. But I was like, okay, no, I know that experience. I know what that's like. So here we go. I'm going somewhere new. It's scary, but I'm going. And I got my dream job and I started having more fun. And those were little miracles, honestly, right, for me. So keep leaning into your curiosity. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that it's like the awareness and recognizing them, like, oh, those are miracles. Like, that is amazing that that happened for you. Like, you got your dream job and you started to, like, propel you forward and you became, and I love how you use the word to witness, like, because when we witness, like, ourselves or what's happening around us, then it really raises our frequency. And it's having the awareness that your gifts are gifts and that you're experiencing something that not everybody is, and your gifts are needed in this world, because we get so used to things that we think that they're normal and that everybody thinks like us, and it's like, no, you are uniquely you and you're special and you have things to share that other
yes,
people need.
100 million%. And when you were talking earlier, I pulled another card and it reads, I free myself from critical thoughts towards my body and towards my worth. I free myself from critical thoughts towards my body and towards my worth. So I think someone needs to hear that today. And, if you're ready to sort of create more awareness, create positive change in your life, I invite you to dive into the book, Soul Alchemy, that just launched today and this morning. You can find it on Amazon, and I'll link it. It's linked in my stories already. Or connect with Elizabeth and the spaces that she has, because getting around those souls, even if it's virtually, right, you're connecting with those people's energy, right? And it's contagious. And so that'll help you sort of gain their energy. So if they're even just a little bit further ahead than you, that'll help propel you to where you want to be as well.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, is like, even if somebody is just like 10% ahead of you, there's so much to be gleaned from them because they were just in the space where you are. And so it's, even can be more potent than somebody who was there 20 years ago, because there's so many steps that we take along the way. And so connecting with people, like-minded souls that are in alignment with you, that are just have been right there where you were. I mean, it's like, grab onto that and, hold that close to your heart, because those people are put into your
absolutely. And like, it's okay if you're at a spot too where you are not able to invest, in external help at this time. Like, I was there for a long time, but I watched videos like this. I got connected into like Facebook groups similar to this so I could be around people. So start where you're at. And then when you're ready, like, I can't even tell you, I was on the do-it-yourself for a long time, which honestly I think is like part of the trauma response, right, of being afraid to ask for help and receive help and let it in. But when I finally invested in support, like exponentially, I was able to grow and release so much more. Yes, I was able to do a lot on my own. I changed my body. I changed some of my mindset. But when I finally invested, I really actually got to where I wanted to be. So yeah, whether you feel called to connect more with the moon energy and your own cycles to start making money doing with what you love and want to work with me, please inquire. Feel free to message me. Or whether you're ready to connect with Elizabeth. Elizabeth, can you share more about how people can work with you?
Absolutely. So I have, we have one-on-one where it's just one-off sessions, or by the month or 3 months. And then also I have a small group, this incredible container. So I'll start rebuilding another group for the inner circle. And then also, if you're interested in starting off with a healing, I have a healing membership where there's weekly healings, and it's a really potent.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I'll make sure that I share all the information and links into after this video is shared. And yeah, just lastly, is there any sort of tool or activity that you want to do today to help people sort of clear that clutter, clear that criticism, and make space for some more light to come in?
Well, so I love just talking about the light, and one of my favorite ways to clear is to really see the sun like pouring into your solar plexus, so your upper belly, and really feeling that sun, the power of the light, just really extend out the top of your head, down the bottom of your feet, out of your arms, and really create like an energetic capsule of light, and just pushing and releasing any energies that are not yours, out of your body, and then just opening up from that power
Beautiful.
center.
Yes, I love that. Would you like to lead an example of that for a couple minutes, or I can if you don't want to? I'm just feeling called to, like, I don't know.
I would
do an example, but I love that example too. I do that myself.
Yeah, well, I would love to hear what you do.
Yeah, so let's dive into that. I love that example. So if you're open to it, go ahead and sit comfortably, and we'll just be here for a few moments, a few minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. So sit comfortably, just fix your posture. I'm going to close my eyes because that helps me tune in. So if you're comfortable doing that, please do. And just start to notice your breath here as we settle in to this present moment, to welcome some clearing and some creating of space. Notice your sit bones and the surface that you're seated on. And gently start to deepen your breath. Nice breath in, and gently slow down your exhale. Nice slow exhale. And we'll take 3 breaths in together. So nice deep breath in, and a slow breath out. Nice breath in, and a slow breath out. One more, just like that. And with your eyes closed, I want to invite you to a scene outside. Outside, sat on the edge of a bank of a grassy meadow. Feel the cool ground beneath you. These long, soft blades of grass. And up above, there's a beautiful light blue sky, brilliant sun shining down. Take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. And if it feels good, welcome that light in. Feel the sun shine down, these beautiful 100% white golden light frequencies shining down on your skin. See if you can connect to the warmth, the sensation on the skin. If you're visual, maybe see a sparkle, like what was that series, like the Twilight series, the vampires out in the sun, the sparkly skin, right? Letting that light in. Take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. And we don't need to tell the light where to go. The light knows exactly where to go to cleanse and clear and repair whatever it is that you need. If there's any creative project you're working on, if there's any passion that you want to start to step more fully into, just welcome that into your mind right now. And let that light in. Let that light in right to the top of your stomach, right to that solar plexus chakra, this beautiful 100% golden white light frequency coming in to fuel that passion, fuel that joy, fuel that purpose. purpose, coming in, flowing in, filling the body until it overflows. Till you have light coming out of the tips of the hair and the tips of the fingers and the fingernails. Light coming in and overflowing out of you. And I want to invite you to lay one or both hands on the top of the stomach, right at that solar plexus chakra area. And you can gently place pressure here, or you can lightly tap this area to bring awareness to it. And if you can, I want you to say out loud with me, I have unlimited potential and claim my purpose. All I need is within me. I'm going to say it twice more. I have unlimited potential and claim my purpose. All I need is within me. I have unlimited potential and claim my purpose. All I need is within me. Take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. You can gently relax your hands to wherever is most comfortable. Connect to your breath, the sensations of your breath as the air comes in through the nose, down into the lungs, expanding the chest, expanding the belly, and back up and out again. And as we close, coming back into the body, I want to invite you to inhale, sit up nice and tall, and exhale, turn one direction. It doesn't matter which direction because we're going to go both ways. Just gently twist the upper body just as far as is comfortable today until you feel a light stretch. So you're going to twist and hold. Take a couple deep breaths in and out. On your next exhale, gently come back to neutral, only moving as fast and as far as your body is comfortable today. Big deep breath in, sit up nice and tall. And on an exhale, gently twist your torso in the opposite direction and hold. And take a couple nice deep breaths in and out, coming back into the body. And on your next exhale, gently come back to neutral, back to center. And you can rub your hands together, rub your palms together. Maybe clap your hands gently, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And notice how you feel. So that was just a simple little practice, right? And you can do it for 1 minute. You could do that for 15 minutes or however long, right? But hopefully my intention when I do this work is just to help bring you to a calm, grounded place. So hopefully you feel a little bit of that today.
Yeah, that was amazing. I love that.
Perfect. And thank you so much, Elizabeth, for coming on here today, chatting with me. So love you and the work that you do. I'll make sure to share all of her links. And for, any of you ready to alchemize and live a life beyond your wildest dreams, I want to invite you again to read the book Soul Alchemy, which is out today and in my stories. But yes, anything else you feel called to share, Elizabeth, as we close here?
No, I just am so grateful. Thank you so much for having me, and this has been so fun.
Beautiful.
And thank you. I
Well,
love
thank you so much. Yeah, hopefully we can do this again. All right, everyone. Happy moon manifesting. Bye.